Hi guys, it's Mrs. McIver here. So we are going to start a new lesson that we didn't get to before school closed, and it is the food truck drawings. So if you have watercolors, or if you have markers at home, or even if you have colored pencils, any of these will work. Hopefully you have something with color at home that you can work with. And if you don't, you can still do this with just a pencil and a pen. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start, and I would encourage you to start with pencil first for this so that you can erase if you make a mistake. So that my drawing shows up on the video, I'm going to go ahead and just use a Sharpie. All right, so the first thing we're going to do to get started is draw the basic shape for our food truck, which is simply a giant rectangle. Now, I'm going to draw my tires here. If you're doing this with pencil, you can go ahead and draw your box first. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to put the door in, and I'm going to draw a handle here, and I want a window inside the front of my truck. Okay. And then over here, I'm going to do a little canopy on the top of my truck just to make it look fancy in case it rains or something like that. Okay, and then underneath that canopy, I'm going to draw a giant window. And then right here, I'm going to draw just kind of a basic checkerboard so that I can put a few sample pictures for the product that I'm selling. So before you get started, you want to think about what are you selling in your food truck. It could be tacos, it could be cupcakes, it could be Slurpees, nachos, whatever it is. You get to decide here what it is that you want to sell. All right, so I'm going to actually put a line right here, and I'm going to make a sign for my truck, and I'm going to call it Sprinkles Cupcakes because that's the name of my business. K-L-E-S. Okay, and I might just go ahead and put a little headlight there. You can add a little bumper if you want. I'm going to do the inside of my tires. And this will look better if you do it in pencil first. But since I'm selling cupcakes, I'm going to go ahead and inside each one of these, I'm going to decorate and put a different type of cupcake. So maybe I'll have chocolate, vanilla, carrot cake, I don't know, whatever type you like. I like the hummingbird cupcakes myself. Okay, so you cannot leave this window blank here. I would encourage you to just kind of go ahead, maybe do a few shelves up here. I'm going to put some cupcakes on there. So there we go. Maybe 3 on each shelf. And then maybe right here I'll have a little container with my sprinkles. And here's going to be my worker. So I'm just going to do a little cartoon figure. I'm going to give her curly hair. Make her look happy because she's working in a Cupcake truck. How could you not be happy if you're working in a cupcake truck? Okay, and then let's see what else. Oh, up here on the top of my cup, I'm going to draw a giant cupcake. Put the little flutes on the bottom so it looks fancy. Okay, maybe add a little cherry on the top, some sprinkles, since that's the name of my business. And then I think what I'm going to do right here is just add a little bumper. I'm going to add one on this side as well. Okay, and maybe just a little bumper there. Okay, and I need this line here so that you can get into my truck. All right, so now that you have your truck drawn, you want to go ahead and I'm going to use some watercolors since I have those, but you certainly can use whatever it is that you have. And I'm going to watercolor in and decorate. Try to make it really bright and colorful. Remember, when you're using your watercolor, you might need a paper towel to kind of blot and get some of that extra water off of your brush. So I'm going to go ahead this. There's a lot of different things you could use for your food truck. It doesn't have to be anything sweet. You could do a guacamole truck. You could do a sushi truck. I had kids last semester do sushi trucks. Anything you want. You can be as creative as you want here. The best way to go about coming up with an idea is just to kind of spend some time thinking about what is your favorite food. All right, so I think I want a red and white striped top. I'm going to put some pink there, or red. It's red, but if you water it down, it looks pink. And I'm going to alternate. So I'm going to do pink, white, pink, white. And if I get my red on here too dark, like this one's darker, I can add a little more water, or I could just pull some of this color and bring it over to the other one, which is what I did there. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one, and then I'm going to do the end one. Pull this out. And let's see. I think I'm going to do purple down here on the bottom. But if you think about like the ice cream trucks, if you have ice cream trucks that come through your neighborhood, those are always really bright and colorful. So you want to do the same thing here when you're decorating your food truck. So if you don't have anything at home with color, if you don't have any colorful art supplies like pencil or colored pencils or markers, you can make up for that just by adding a lot of detail to your drawing. Try to really take your time, have really good craftsmanship, and do a really nice drawing to kind of make up for the fact that you don't have any color. You can still do a good job on this, is what I'm trying to tell you. All right, so I am going to put some black on here. I know I tell you guys not to use black. A lot of times at school I pull the black out of the watercolor palettes. But for this, I'm going to go ahead. I want my tires to be black, and it'll give me a little bit of contrast. Okay. So I'm just going to keep going with this, and I'm going to paint this tire I'm going to leave the inside. I don't have a silver watercolor. You could combine, if I had a silver colored pencil, I could go ahead and use a combination of colored pencil or marker on this. It doesn't just have to be watercolors. You can go ahead and use whatever you want, really. A combination might be kind of pretty. So I'm going to paint this door. I'm kind of rushing here because of the video, but if I was really taking my time here, it would take me a lot longer than it is in my video here. But I'm trying to make it really bright and colorful. And remember, you can lift watercolor. You just add a little bit of water onto it, and you can lift some of the color. Watercolor is supposed to be transparent, which means the first layer goes on light, and if you need to, you can add more layers to darken up your color, but it shouldn't ever go on there really, really dark. You want to kind of take your time. Okay, so that's my window. All right, so I'm not done yet. It just occurred to me, I also need to draw my background here. So I'm going to put in a horizon line, which is where the ground and the sky meet. And then I do want to add some type of a background. So I'm going to say my, I think I want my cupcake truck to be at the beach. So I'm just going to put some light waves in here. And we'll make this the road here. Or maybe it's sand. Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll put some sand in here so that it looks like he's on the beach. I'm going to add some more brown. I'm just going to do one side here. I can kind of vary the amount of brown that I put on. And then my background is going to be all of those cool colors, so it looks like the ocean. So blues and purples and greens. And I'm going to add a little bit of green on here. And I'm just going to kind of do the whole background. Maybe try to add some layers there. You may need to wait for your truck to dry, because if you paint wet next to another area that's wet, sometimes those colors bleed into one another. So you might want to let it dry a little bit, and then you can kind of go back and address a little fuzzy on there, the other area. Okay, so I'm going to do my cupcake. I think I want kind of like a yellow bottom. I don't have any yellow in my picture, and I think yellow would add a pop of color here. Okay, and then I think I want a really, really bright cherry on top. And maybe I'll do an orange cupcake up here. Just kind of taking my time. You can fill the top of your truck if you want. You can put a bunch of different things up there. Okay. And then inside my truck, I'm going to carry some of that yellow in there because I've got a lot of colors everywhere else. So I'm going to go ahead and add some yellow. And this is, because this is really small here where you have your person, You're going to want to take your time when you paint this, and you may need to just work in stages. Paint the background, let it dry. Once the background is dry, then you're going to go ahead and then you can come back in and you can paint your sample cupcakes and go back in and make your yours right here. And I actually am thinking right now what I might do is go back in and just use colored pencil for some of these details right here. So it's really hard to get a lot of detail with watercolor depending on what you have. But so like I have a colored pencil here, I can go ahead now. I'm going to give my worker a bright red shirt. And I've got a little flesh color here, so I'm going to color in her skin. Right there. And I think I want this to be really, really kind of fun and crazy, so I'm going to give her some goofy hair. I might make her a little carrot top with like orangey hair. Let's see. Maybe what I'll do, I don't think I have an orange colored pencil, but I can certainly layer. Gonna look like a little carrot top there. And I'm going to color my sprinkles here. And then I can go back in and color each one of these cupcakes. Maybe I'll do like a blueberry. Maybe this one is going to be grape flavored. Ooh, maybe I'll do like a lemon lime right here. And let's see, what else do I have? This is, I don't know, kind of a pomegranate. I think it's the same color I used for her shirt, but we can certainly do that. Ooh, maybe a bright yellow. Everybody likes lemon. Do a lemon cupcake. And let's see, I think, of course, you have to have chocolate, right? So I think what I'll do here is a chocolatey one. There, and then I'm going to color the bottom of my cupcake, the little wrappers. I'm not even going to try and put words in there because they'll never show up. And I don't want it to look too crowded. But I can go back in and color some of these up here. Let me do my chocolate one there. My green one. Lemon lime. Let's do like a little blueberry. I'm going to do 2 blueberries up there just to give it pop of color. Okay, now that that's dry, the last thing I want to do is go back and kind of finish up painting my sand. And remember, with watercolor, you can always layer too. So I'm kind of working around my easel here that I have my camera on, so it's a little awkward for me down here. And I'm trying to hurry because I'm making a video, but normally I would take a little more time doing this and I wouldn't rush it so much. Add a little bit more brown right there. And then I can go ahead if I want and I can add a little yellow and kind of brighten up some of my sand. Add a little bit of color to my sand, a little more dimension. Give it some highlights. If you want to get really fancy, you can take your brush, put some paper towel down. I'm going to be really careful here. But I can add a few splats to make it look like sand on there. Okay, so the last part is I'm going to go back and I'm going to finish my water there. I want to be really careful around this cupcake. And I'm going to add some purple in here, because you can never have too much purple as far as I'm concerned. I love purple. It always adds a nice little bit of color to your work. I'm going to have to kind of okay. Oh, all right. Shoot. I got my cherry. It's bleeding into my water. So I'm going to blot it with my paper towel. I'm not going to do any more over there right now because I'm going to add a little green. I'm going to go back and add some green here because I feel like I don't have very much. And sorry about this side here, you guys. This looks a little weird, but I have my easel here and it's hard for me to paint around the easel setup, so that's why it looks a little goofy. But this is the whole idea then, to do your to make your truck look like it's really bright and colorful. And I found a gray colored pencil, so I'm going to color in my bumper here. And actually, this is kind of, I think they call it a running board. I'm going to do silver hubcaps inside my food truck. Okay, so this is a quick version. I'm sure yours is going to look 100 times better than mine. But this is how you're going to do your food truck. So I hope you guys spend some time thinking about some really creative ideas for your food truck. Think about where it's going to be. Don't just turn in a food truck with a plain white background. Go ahead and address the negative space, the background around it. That's just going to make it look even more exciting and interesting for the viewer. And once you're finished with this, you guys are going to turn it in. You can email it to me, take a picture with your cell phone, just send it to me via email. You can upload it into Blackboard under Submit Assignments, or you can turn it in on Microsoft Teams. So you have 3 different options. And I will be grading these and putting them in the gradebook and trying to give you guys some specific feedback. So good luck and have fun with it. Try to get it into me on Friday. I'm going to be grading on Friday, and next week I'm going to have a whole new assignment for you. So I look forward to seeing all of your work. Thanks, guys.